One of the obvious questions we get all the time is, how much does all of this cost? Well, let me start by saying that quality care across the spectrum of senior care does have a cost. It is expensive. The question is, what kind of value do you get? What's the best way to take your situation with the resources you have and utilize those resources to give you the best quality of life? Hi, I'm Buck Shaw, the owner of Home Instead Senior Care in Sacramento, Placer, El Dorado, and Nevada counties. And today we're going to talk about the cost of home care and senior care and the resources we might find out there that help us with those costs. So before we get into specific payment options and resources, let's just talk a little bit about the home care industry, the labor force, some of the things that are going on out there in the world. Through COVID, it was very hard to get people to continue to be caregivers. We were really fortunate that our care staff stayed with us 100%. We delivered 165,000 hours of care without any incidents of infection that we could trace, took it very seriously. But the world has changed, and many of these home care companies out there have tremendous levels of turnover. The turnover a company has is critical to the quality of care it can deliver, because consistent care equates quality care. If the same caregiver is coming over and over again, that's what you need. When you have high turnover, it's really hard on your loved one, and it's hard on a business, and it's hard to sustain. Really important that you deal with a company that treats its people well, treats them professionally, pays them well, gives them the hours they need to meet their economic needs, and takes good care of them. Because if you're not dealing with a caregiver who's well cared for, how can you expect them to provide great care to your loved one? So at Home Instead, we've made a concerted effort to elevate the position of caregiving. We've made a concerted effort to show them there's a career path, maybe if they want to do work in the healthcare system beyond caregiving. It's really important that we find a way for this labor force to attract younger people, people with the right values, the right mission, the right vision, who then can provide care and maybe move up into other areas in healthcare where we really need them as well. So what are the different options when it comes to paying for home care, senior home care? The first one and most obvious one, it's not one we like, but it's private pay. It's people coming out of their savings and finding a way to pay for that home care. But oftentimes we find that if there's a family and people work cooperatively, a little bit of care can go a long ways. Then there's forms like the VA. If you serve in the military, there are certain VA benefits that may be available to you. If people own real estate, even moderate amounts of real estate, there are ways they can use that as a vehicle to help pay for care. There are some grant programs out there. We have a grant program called Hilarity for Charity. It's a simple application process, and we have provided a significant amount of free care in the community based on that program, as well as some others we have. And then there may be some specific timely programs in our community that we can connect you with at any given time. How do you plan for this cost, and how do the costs compare to other types of care in the industry? I think it's important to know. No matter what your journey is as you age, hopefully you do have some resources, some retirement, some stream of retirement income or savings. If you don't, you're kind of at the control of the social programs, and they're wonderful. They're very important, but you really want to control your quality of care, have the most choices possible. We do that by having resources. It's kind of interesting. Home care, sometimes people will say it's very expensive, and it is. All care is expensive at this level. But it's interesting if you compare our entry-level client monthly is about $1,900 a month. You couldn't even look at an assisted living building or a residential care home in this market less than $4,000. Our average client is about $4,000 a month. So that's kind of the entry level point of where you're going into an assisted living environment. And I'm not knocking assisted living, it's wonderful. But the problem with assisted living is if you have higher levels of need and care, then you still need a caregiver sometimes, whether it's one provided by the facility or a company like ours. So now you can have the double expense of your living environment, plus as your acuity increases, of having to hire a caregiver as well. None of these are good and bad decisions as long as we know what we're doing, what it entails, and what it costs. We can help you with all of those answers. So if you need help or resources, or you just want to talk about what care costs and how you can pay for it, you can find us at livehomeinstead.com. Reach out to us. We're on call all the time, and we'll send a care manager out to chat with you. We can chat on the phone. We can do the Zoom thing. We want to make it as easy as possible for you to get the answers you need.